Myself, Pratap, and I would like to discuss about Canadian universities and their admission formalities, their prerequisite, eligibility criteria, entry requirement, and the post-study work permit. Then how to get jobs there. So study permit, admission formalities, followed by study permit and post-study work permit. These are the things today's date I wanted to discuss with you all. So before that, we need to know why is education an important component in Canada's global outlook. So as countries around the world plan for prosperity, it is critical that their economies be driven by innovation, research, top talent, and highly skilled labor. So Canada is committed to supporting this state of affairs and has an excellent education system known for its quality, relevance, and flexibility. And for its welcoming environment for international students is a major attraction for Canada. So in short, Canada is a destination in which students from across Canada and around the world can reach their full potential. So if you are a prospective student, so you can achieve your full potential while you are studying in Canada. So some of the quick facts about Canada, like Canada is a wonderful place to live and study. So the United Nations has regularly ranked Canada in the top 10 countries in the world in its quality of life index. And some of the Canadian places like it's Vancouver, it's the second best place in the world to live and settle. Canada education is something world class. It's ranked number one by the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, for higher education achievement. Next slide. And they have Canada is a multicultural and open to the world, and they have official bilingual. It's officially they have bilingual language. They have English as well as French, widely spoken. And across country, they have more than 200 languages are spoken. The biggest cities like Vancouver, actually Toronto is the largest city, followed by Vancouver. Then the capital Ottawa and Montreal are the home for many of migrant communities. You can find many Indians, many Asians, mainly Indians and Europeans, Africans. So you can find some multicultural actually. Canada is very innovative, where you have seen that some of the Canada's education institutions have been the incubators for innovation. Some of the innovated product like BlackBerry. Now most of them are not using BlackBerry. BlackBerry, they are the founders. Flat screen technology, then smart boards, voice compression application for cell phones and computers, IMAX, for among the many revolutionary technologies invented and developed by men and women who studied in Canada. You maybe heard the Bombardier. Bombardier is a Canadian company, so it's very innovative. Country is very innovative, and they produce leaders. Some of them are David Suzuki. You maybe heard about David Suzuki, famous architect, and the economist John Kenneth. Then the film stars, you can find directors like have you seen the Titanic and Avatar? The director James Cameron, the author Margaret, Jim Carrey, then Rachel, Ryan Gosling. They are all from Canada. It's very competitive economy. Canada is one of the world's most stable economies in the world. Actually, Canada is a major player in collaborative research and development. So Canadian universities are known for conducting world-class research. Globally, they punch well above their weight in output. They rank the sixth in terms of average citation levels across all fields among the top scientific countries, and produce 4% of world's scientific papers despite representing only 1% of world's population. Canadian universities are key economic drives for regional and national prosperity and a powerhouse of research and development activities, performing 40% of nation's total research and development, valued at $13 billion each year. University researchers collaborate more than 1 billion worth of research and community and non-profit community groups every year and conduct almost 1 billion worth of research in collaboration with the private sector. So the private sector, it's contributing more, providing the intellectual raw materials that drives innovation and builds prosperity. Canadian universities are globally competitive and have a strong record of research and excellence and offer high quality education. From coast to coast, they share a common culture of quality and excellence and committed to ensuring that high standards are achieved and maintained. So these are actually some of the common facts about Canada. And so if you move to Canada, you can see that in Canada, there are 1,552 institutions are there, pan-Canada wise. So in this, 100 are universities, purely universities, private and public. Most of them are public, and you can find 50,000 undergraduate, graduate, and research programs are offering in these 100 universities. From ocean technology to space technology program, you can find all variety of programs, and all their programs are connected with their NOC code, National Occupation Classification Code, either O or A or B or C, connected with the employment as well as the permanent residence in Canada. So if you take Canada's map, so it's a North America. So in this we need to, there are 14 provinces, but we most of the Canadians, in the southern border of Canada, which is close to US. So the provinces from I would say we need to take from west to east, then it's from south west to southeast you need to take. So if you start from southwest, then it is like British Columbia, then Alberta, followed by Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, then Quebec, then Atlantic provinces like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland, Labrador. These are the 10 provinces which normally students, international students, go to these places, and where the universities, these 100 universities you can find in these particular provinces. So the entire list I can send you once, if you need, I can send you the entire university list, and even you can find that in the this IELTS score reporting with British Council IDP, where you can find all these lists. So when you appear IELTS, you need to mention your 5 universities. So that is free of course, where they will send your IELTS result officially. Official score reporting will be done from this IELTS bodies like British Council and IDP. So all these institutions, how you can find in their website, you can find all their details in the province wise, where you need to next slide, Shraddha. You need to take the DLI, designated learning institutions. In designated learning institutions, you can select province wise. If you select province wise, you can find all provinces, where you, some of the provinces like New Northern Territory, you can't find any institution, or maybe 1 or 2 institution you may find it. If you go to Yukon, there was a college called Yukon College, now that become Yukon University. So including the Yukon University, you can find 100 universities in these 10 provinces or 14 provinces, I would say. Some of the provinces there is no institutions actually, especially New and Northern Territory. Next. So out of 100 universities, you can find top 10 Canadian universities, which is listed the world ranking very recently. So these 10 top 10 are University of Toronto, University of British Columbia (UBC), McGill University, it is in Montreal, it's in Quebec. University of Toronto is in Ontario province. University of British Columbia, it is in British Columbia. That's the name itself, it's in British Columbia. McGill is in Quebec. McGill is in Quebec, and McMaster University, University of Montreal, University of Alberta, University of Ottawa, University of Calgary, University of Waterloo, then Western Ontario University, Ontario Tech University. These are the top 10 top ranking universities in Canada. You can find the details in the the World University Ranking List, top 10 Canadian universities. This is the latest published very recently. Go to the next one. So there is another ranking like U15. These U15 is nothing but university ranking. University like 15 universities they separated as a in 100 universities they given a preference for these U15 universities. So these are the U15. Under U15 you could find the University of Alberta, University of British Columbia, UBC, University of Calgary, Dalhousie, that is in Nova Scotia, Laval, Manitoba, McGill, McMaster University, Montreal, Ottawa, Queen's, University of Saskatchewan, University of Toronto, University of Waterloo, and Western University. These are the U15 categories. So I was fortunate enough to visit some of the universities. I've been to Canada in 2019 on a business visitor and an investor. Then I've been to some of the top ranking, including the University of British Columbia. I've been to Fairleigh Dickinson University, NYIT, Adler University, Simon Fraser University, University of Canada West, Capella, no, Trinity Western University, City University of Seattle, and University of British Columbia, where it's a huge campus. It is the size of Hyderabad, I would say. Then Cape Breton University, which is extreme, and in south in east side, that is an Atlantic region. It's an island called Cape Breton Island. There is only one university called Cape Breton University. So I've been to 10 university and will be visiting remaining 90 universities probably by this year once this pandemic is completely over and wiped out. And so about the university admission part, the prerequisite or the entry criteria eligibility requirement for most of these 100 universities is almost same. So I would say apart from your academic should be minimum 65% in your bachelor's or your intermediate. If you are going for a bachelor program, it's a 3 years to maximum 4 years. Professional engineering programs are 4 years. Master program 2 years. All master program are 2 years program. So the eligibility part is concerned. Your academic excellence should be minimum 65%, and some of the university will ask you 70%. And if your score is 80 above, then you can expect scholarship. If it's 90 above, you can get more scholarship. Almost that in the full tuition fee of your score, you can expect the scholarship. Apart from the your academic excellence, you need to make sure that your profile is so strong enough. For that, you need to prepare your statement of intent. Statement of intent should be why you are going for that particular program and what motivated you to take that program, and from where you got the spark. So you need to write that statement of interest or statement of intent. We call statement of purpose, maximum 2 pages. Then you need to prepare a university format resume or your updated CV, where you can update your IELTS score, your TOEFL or English language, and your other competitive exam like GRE, GMAT, and all if you're going for MBA program. Then most importantly, you need to get your letter of recommendation or reference letter. This reference letter or recommendation letter, you need to get 3 reference letter from where you have studied, from your referees. Preferably your principal should be the doctorate, solution should be the doctorate, then your head of the department, then the third one from your associate professor or senior lecturer or assistant professor. So make sure that your 2 referee solution should be doctorate. So if you are working, then you can get the third referee's details from your employer, and make sure that all these referees solution should be at least two of the referee solution should be a doctorate, and you need to provide their official email ID instead of their personal email ID like Gmail ID or Yahoo or Reddit. It should be their official email ID, because they will be getting an official or confidential email from the university where they have to respond with your in a proper way. So you need to make sure that their email ID should be official and their solution should be doctorate, preferably two of the referee solutions should be doctorate. So you can go to my digital view book, Pratap Ramdas. In that you can find all the samples, as well as it's a downloadable one. You can take the resume. You can even get the academic reference from there. It's there, and you can download the statement of interest, where I got the admission from Carleton as well as from McGill University, where you can find the admission letter there. So these are the samples, uh, and the resume I actually downloaded from York University. So it's a York University template. Then I have created on my own way. I'm adding my credentials. Similarly, you can create you can download this resume template and create as per your credential. Then make sure that it is one page or maximum two page, where you can 2 pages, where you can add your all your details there. So this is actually the admission requirement part. So in admission requirement part, apart from your previous education, your letter of recommendation is the most important part, followed by statement of interest or statement of purpose, and your updated resume. Next slide. So once you have these documents, then we need to launch your application in the portal. So in Alberta, there is the one Alberta ID you can create, and we can apply all the universities in Alberta. There are almost 11 universities in Alberta. So more universities in Ontario. So 25 universities in Ontario. There is a one particular ID called Ontario University Application Center, OUAC. In that, we can create your ID and we can apply all universities in Ontario. So when you create ID, some of the university they have a separate login code where you need to log in. Especially Ryerson, Carleton, and all, you have a separate Carleton ID or Ryerson ID. With that, you need to log in. Then you need to mention your all detail as per your passport, your name and your passport address, then your IELTS score, then your all academic detail. If you're applying for a bachelor's program, then you need to select the secondary or post-secondary as your previous or last education. If you're going for a graduate program, which is nothing but your master's program, there you need to select your post-secondary undergraduate. Then you need to enter your percentage. Then they will ask your 3 referees detail. There you need to mention your referees detail. Then pay the application fee and submit your application. So within 3 to maximum 5 working days, you will be getting an email from university asking you to upload your document. Then you need to upload your document, and also you need to upload your document also, and also you need to inform your referees that they will be getting a confidential email where they have to respond on time. Then most of the university they will ask you WES, worldwide evaluation services, WES, where your credential has to be evaluated. So you need to courier your document officially to the WES. Then WES will report to the particular university which you are applying or you are already applied. So this is the admission formalities. Then normally there is an admission committee. They will review and assess your application. Then they will check your all document which you have uploaded, and the WES report they have received, and also official co-reporting from these IS bodies like British Council, IDP. Then they will issue your admission. So this is about the admission formalities. You need all your academic document. Then your apart from academic document, you need LOR, SOP, and your CV. Upload it. submit by paying the application fee, then contact your referees and also your IELTS and other bodies like GRE. If GRE required, GRE also need to be officially reported. After that, they will issue an admission. So these are about the admission formalities. Once your admission is done, then you will be getting a letter of acceptance or offer letter. It's nothing but your admission to that particular program, that university. After getting your admission, then we will start your we have to start your study permit process. So in order to start your study permit process, there is a direct stream called student direct stream. It's in short, it's called SDS. Previously, it was SPP, Student Partnership Program. Now that is replaced by SDS. In SDS stream, whichever the country you are applying, now you are in India, or you are an Indian and you are applying from Saudi or from US or from any other country outside of Canada, then you want the visa at the earliest possible time. Then you need to select your student direct stream. In student direct stream, there are three factors. The first and foremost thing, paying the first year's fee or the 1 year fee or 2 semesters fee. That will cost you somewhere around, if it's a university master's program, it will cost you $20,000, somewhere around 10 lakhs. This year you have to pay. This you can pay by from your pocket, or you can take an education loan, as HDFC Credit Life is providing an education loan. So you can pay from your education loan, or anyone can pay, like your parents or your siblings or your immediate family members can pay, or any other sponsors, like if you are working and your company is ready to sponsor you for your higher education, then they can pay this tuition fee. But you need to deposit your living expenses of 10,000, minimum 10,200 CAD to maximum 50,000 Canadian dollar. That has to go from your particular account which you maintain here in India. So this is the one you always have to make sure that it should go from your account. It should not go from any others account, including your parents, siblings, or any others. So it has to go from your account. So minimum $10,000 you have to invest. So for that, you need to get an investment account. That investment account number you can open with Scotia Bank, ICICI Bank. Then now it says now HSBC also started this. You have a CIBC bank. So there are many Canadian bank, international banks, Indian bank like ICICI is also into this investment. So once you invested 10,200 minimum Canadian dollar, you will be getting a certificate that is nothing but guaranteed investment certificate. This is a refundable amount or reimbursable amount once you are in Canada. So initially you will get $2,000. Then the remaining 11 months in a span of 1 year, you will get the remaining $8,000. So 10,000 distribution, like initially 2,000, then the remaining $8,000. So you need to secure this guaranteed investment certificate, in short GIC, and your IELTS should be minimum 6 in all modules. Then you are eligible to apply on student direct stream, STS stream. That is the easiest and the immediate getting visa. You can make sure that your visa is approved on this particular category. In case if you are going on non-STS is nothing but your IELTS score is less than 6 and you have paid only 1 year, less than 1 year fee or 1 semester fee, and you haven't secured GIC, then it will go to non-STS. Whether you are applying to university or college, it will go to non-STS. So you always make sure that you are applying your visa on SDS category. This is the most important part. So in order to be eligible with SDS category, you have to pay first year fee. You should have secured 10,200 CAD GIC worth, and also your IELTS should be minimum 6 in all modules. Then you can go ahead with the study permit on the STS category. Next. And when you are applying, as I said, there are 100 universities in Canada. So in these 100 universities, there are many private universities as well as public university. More are public universities, but there are some private universities. You could find many US universities have a campus in Canada. So actually in Canada, there are 75 universities, but some university have multiple campus. For example, Concordia University. So Concordia University, you can find they have a campus in Montreal, they have a campus in Toronto, they have a campus in Edmonton. These three are three different places. Montreal is in Quebec, then Toronto is the financial capital, that is in Ontario, then Edmonton, that is in Alberta. So if you consider Concordia University as one university, then it's a 75 universities in total. If you consider as a three universities as a Concordia, then total 100 universities are in Canada. So some of the private universities, you need to be careful with the private universities because their all programs are not post-study work permit program. For example, if you go to in DLI and selected Alberta, you could find Ambrose University. In Ambrose University, you can find many programs, bachelor program as well as master's program. But some of the programs are not eligible for postgraduate work permit. So in Ambrose University, you can find Bachelor of Arts, which is a 3-year. They have many specializations like behavioral science, business administration, Christian studies, English literature, general studies, history, music. Then they have the same Bachelor of Arts and 4 years of duration. Then Bachelor of Business Administration, BBA, B.Ed, Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Theology, Master of Arts in Theological Studies, Intellectual Ministries and Leadership and Ministry, Christian Studies and Divinity. So these many programs only you will get post-study work permit. If you are doing any other program in this particular university, then you are not eligible for post-study work permit. Next. Then you can find Adler University. Adler University is in British Columbia. It is in Vancouver. I had been to this particular university. It's a US university. They have a campus in Vancouver, and they have many programs. So these are the programs like Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology, Master of Arts in Industrial and Organization Psychology, Master of Arts in Organization Psychology. It's a difference between Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology and Master of Counseling Psychology. It's a thesis based and non-thesis based. Then Master of Counseling in Psychology at Arts Therapy, Organization Psychology, Master in Public Policy and Administration. Then you can even find PhD program. So counseling psychology is normally good for those who did psychology or counseling here in India, and organization psychology, those who did engineering or a bachelor degree, then they have an MBA in HR, and they worked here as a HR or HR analyst or HR generalist or HR executive. Then their next upgradation is nothing but organization management. So organization psychology or industrial and organization psychology is good for them. So they can go to this particular university where they can get their post-study work permit for 3 years. All these master's programs are for 2 years. So you will be getting 3 years of post-study work permit. Next is City University of Seattle. Shraddha, next. City University of Seattle is again US university. It is in Seattle. They have a campus in Canada. They have multiple campuses. One is in Vancouver. Then they have in Alberta. So this City University of Seattle, it's a Vancouver campus. In Vancouver campus, you can find four programs. One is a Bachelor of Arts in Management, Master of Counseling, Master of Education Leadership, Master of Education School Counseling. But here you can see these 4 programs are postgraduate work permit program. In this Master Education program and Master Education School Counseling, it's actually meant for domestic students. It's not meant for industry students, but in DLI, you could find these programs are postgraduate work permit programs. The next is Fairleigh Dickinson University. This again a US university. They have a campus in Canada, that's in Vancouver. In Vancouver, you can find these programs like Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, Bachelor of Arts in Individualized Studies, then Administrative Science. In Administrative Science, you can find many specialization. Global Health, you can find one of the hot program for most of the dentists, most of the healthcare professional. Like many dentists went for this program. It's a global health program. In Master of Administration, you can take a specialization Global Health. Then there is a program called Master of Science in Applied Computing, Computer Science. Then Hospitality Management Study, that is mainly meant for BHM holders. So these programs are postgraduate work permit program. You will be getting 3 years of postgraduate work permit when you do these programs at Fairleigh Dickinson University, in short FDU. Next, New York Institute of Technology, again a US university. It's in New York and in US, but in Canada it's in Vancouver. See, all these universities in Vancouver is all connected actually. If you go to the central Vancouver, you can find all these universities are nearby. So in this university, you can find 4 programs: Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Cybersecurity. It's actually MS INCS, Information Network and Computer System. Now they changed as a Master of Science in Cybersecurity and Master of Science in Instructional Technology. That's good for a beard holders, and they can go for this particular program. Master of Science in Energy Management, those who did petroleum engineering, mining, civil engineering, then environmental engineering. So in energy management, they will be discussing more on energy in renewable energy, sustainable energies, and solar. All the energy sources. This is a very good program, good for civil engineers. So these 4 programs you will be getting post-study work permit. Then Northeastern University. Next slide. Northeastern University is again US university. They have multiple campuses in Canada. One is in Vancouver, then in Toronto. In Vancouver, you can find only 2 programs which are eligible for postgraduate work permit. The first one is Master of Science in Computer Science, then Master of Science in Project Management. So Project Management is a 1-year program, and Computer Science is 2 years program in Northeastern University. Then the Trinity Western University. Next, Trinity Western University is in Vancouver. They have a many program. So in DLI you can't find all the program. They have mentioned all non theological programs are postgraduate work permit program. So they have an MBA program. They have last time many students went for many dentists went for a program called Master of Leadership in Health as a specialization. So MBA programs are their major program, and also the health studies. They have many other programs. All non-theological programs are postgraduate work permit program. It is in Trinity Western University is in Vancouver. It's not in Vancouver. It is far from Vancouver. Next, then the University of Canada West. University of Canada West. It's again a private university. So they have many programs and Master of Arts, Associate of Arts, and Bachelor of Arts in Business Communication, Bachelor of Commerce (BCom), and Master of Business Administration. These 4 programs are postgraduate work permit program in this particular university, University of Canada West. Then the Yorkville University. You could find that in Vancouver as well as in Toronto. In Vancouver campus, their Bachelor of Business Administration program with specialization in accounting, energy management, project management, and supply chain management. These programs are postgraduate work permit program. Then Bachelor of Business Administration BBA. These 2 programs are eligible for postgraduate work permit program in this particular university. Next, Shraddha. Next. Yeah, so Northeastern University in Toronto campus, you can find many programs. You might have noticed that in Vancouver campus they have very limited program. In Northeastern only computer science and as well as project management. But in Toronto campus they have They have more than 5. They have Master of Professional Studies in Analytics, then the Informatics, then the Project Management, Regulatory Affairs. Regulatory Affairs is good for these pharmacy holders who did Bachelor of Pharmacy or else Master of Pharmacy, PharmD. It's actually meant for them, Regulatory Affairs. Cyber security, those who wanted to become the cyber security specialist or ethical hacker, then this particular program is good at Northeastern University. Master of Computer Science program is another program, and these all programs are eligible for postgraduate work permit at Northeastern University. Then the Yorkville University, next. Yorkville University, Toronto campus. There you can find, as you might have noticed, that some programs offering in their Vancouver campus, but more programs here at their Toronto campus, where you can find additional programs like Bachelor of Interior Design, Bachelor of Business Administration, Project Management, Bachelor of Technology in Electronic Engineering Technology. This is one of the best program. Many of our students from India opted for this program. It's a very good program, Bachelor of Technology in Electronics Engineering Technology. So these are the programs at Yorkville University where you can get your post-study work permit after completion of your bachelor's program at Yorkville. So about the program, you can find all kind of programs in these 100 universities, from ocean technology to space technology, and all their programs are connected, as they have a 15,000 programs offering at this university. So all these programs are connected with the National Occupation Classification. So you can find all these classifications. There are more than 500 job categories are there, which is connected with the program. So in Canada, all these programs, then there is no such program which are not connected with the work code, like NOC code, like O or A or B or C. So once you are completed and you are conferred and you have secured your transcript, then the next thing is you have completed your study, and of course you need to apply for your post-study work permit, which is a default system. So once you are going on a study permit and you completed your 2 years, which normally 4 semesters. If it is a tri-semester, then you have six semesters for total 2 years program. So you will be getting study permit for 24 months, as if it's for a 2 years program. If it's bachelor's 3 years, then it's for 3 years. So but you will be completing the program in 16 months of time. If your semesters are four semesters, then you will be getting another 8 months to complete your 24 months study permit. You will be going on a S1 visa or SW1 visa. So once you completed your program and you secured your transcript, then you have to apply your post-study work permit. So when you apply for a post-study work permit or work permit, there are many categories to apply work permit. So I would say almost 12 categories are there. Some of the categories like intra-company transferee, international agreement, then ESDC pilot program, provincial nominee certificate program. The provinces like Atlantic province, whatever the program you are doing, whether you are doing in a private university or public, all programs are province nominee program. That is the reason if you go to the DLI and you select a New Brunswick, where you can find Crandall University, it's a private university. They are offering Master of Management, they are offering Bachelor of Management, they are offering Master of Organization Management, where you can't find that programs are postgraduate work permit program. The reason behind all the program in this particular region, in the Atlantic region, where it's a 4 provinces are there: New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, Labrador. So these provinces, all programs are province nominee programs. Once you secure, you can directly apply for your post-study work permit. So once you completed your studies, you need to apply you have to apply for your post-study work permit. With your transcript and certificate. So you need to secure your transcript. Then within the 8 months time, before it was 6 months, now it's maximum 9 months. But if you are going on a study permit and your visa is 24 months, then you will be completing the program in 16 months, and you will be getting another 8 months as your vacation. That period, if you're comfort, get your transcript and apply for your post-study work permit. In case if you need an extension, then you need to apply for a study permit extension. Then get your post-study work permit for 3 years. You need to get your post-study work permit that will be stamped for 3 years for any 2 years program, whether it's a 2 years diploma program or 2 years postgraduate diploma or masters or graduate program. You'll be getting 3 years of post-study work permit. That post-study work permit you need to apply once you complete your studies and after securing your transcript and certificate. Then finding a job in Canada is quite easy. There are various sectors. Canada's economy is mainly depends upon three major sectors. One is their service sector, then their manufacturing sectors, then the last and final is the natural resource industries. And as major trading partner is the US, you can find most of the US companies have entity in Canada. Even many of our Indian companies also there. You can find CN System, even banks like many banks, SBI you can find there, and Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Tech Mahindra, NTT Data, many companies there. Even we have also started a company in Canada. La Global Canada is in Halifax as well as in Vancouver. So you can find job easily with using your job bank gc.ca, youth.gc.ca, Monster, Workpolish, and you can, the best way to find job, like create your professional LinkedIn profile and update that in your in LinkedIn, where you'll be getting a lot of job offers. You have another option like you can create your ID in WeWork. It's a office space product. In that also you can find many job things, job posting. Then you can post your in the group, and most of the universities are, they have the placement cell or the co-op coordinator you can find. They're also helping you to find the job. These are the job things. So once you have completed the study permit, immediately apply for your post-study work permit, get your job, then complete your minimum 1 year, get your Canadian experience, then you have an option to apply your permanent residence based on Canadian experience class. Thank you.